Picture this. You're deep in the Amazon River, and beneath that murky surface lurks a creature that has absolutely haunted our collective imagination for decades. Yeah, we're talking about the piranha. Just the name probably makes you think of boiling, blood-red waters and inescapable doom, right? But today, we're leaving all that Hollywood sensationalism on the riverbank. We're diving deep to strip away the fiction and uncover the true story of nature's most infamous and honestly completely misunderstood survivor. Let's get right into it.
So, we all know the Hollywood myth. It's basically a horror franchise built entirely on bloodlust. Mindless, aggressive man-eaters that will strip you to the bone in seconds just for, splashing in the wrong part of the river. But look past the silver screen, and scientific reality reveals a starkly different creature. In nature, these guys aren't mindless killers at all. Actually, they're calculating, highly defensive scavengers. Think of them as the crucial cleanup crew of the Amazon ecosystem. Now, you might be wondering, if science says they're just peaceful scavengers, how did this massive monster myth take root in the first place? Well, the answer goes back over a century to a single chilling declaration: the most ferocious fish in the world. And no, that wasn't a line from some cheesy B-movie script. It was actually penned back in 1913 by Theodore Roosevelt after his expedition to South America. And let's face it, when a U.S. president validates our deepest fears, a terrifying legend is born. A legend that has completely overshadowed the complex reality of this animal for over 100 years.
And we really need to put this into perspective. Long before humans ever floated down the Amazon, let alone made blockbuster movies about it, piranhas were out there perfecting their craft. These evolutionary marvels have been navigating South America's ancient murky waters for over 20 million years. 20 million! Surviving for that incredibly long in one of the planet's most competitive, predator-heavy ecosystems requires way more than just mindless aggression. It demands absolute resilience and a really fine-tuned set of survival skills.
Here's the thing. We tend to lump all piranhas into one terrifying, toothy category. But beneath the surface, there is a shocking amount of diversity. There are over 60 distinct species currently recognized by science. And here comes the reality check that usually completely stuns people. Ready? The vast majority of these species are actually peaceful omnivores. No, really, they aren't hunting large prey. They're foraging for seeds, munching on plant matter, and cleaning up the riverbed. They're basically the ultimate underwater vacuum cleaners.
But, okay, make no mistake, some species are true apex predators, and they are engineered for absolute devastation. Take the black piranha, the largest of the bunch. It boasts a bite force 72 times its own body weight. To put that crazy number into perspective, a great white shark sits at a mere 20 times multiplier. So, pound for pound, a piranha's bite is 3 to 4 times stronger than a great white's. That's enough sheer force to literally pierce right through a solid steel plate. Absolutely wild.
And it's not just about that sheer brute force either. It's their flawless biological design. Piranhas possess these interlocking, razor-sharp teeth that fit seamlessly together, kind of like a steel bear trap. Once those jaws clamp down, escaping is basically impossible. And what happens if a struggling prey manages to snap one of those teeth? Honestly, it doesn't even matter. Just like a shark, their dental system continuously regenerates. It just drops a fresh, razor-sharp replacement right into place, totally ready for the next strike. Yet, despite all that built-in weaponry, they aren't the silent, lurking killers that cinema makes them out to be. They're actually highly social, and surprisingly, vocal. Yeah, scientists have discovered they use a complex underwater language. Piranhas communicate through 3 distinct acoustic signals. They have a deep bark to warn off enemies, a rhythmic drumming sound to coordinate while chasing prey, and this rapid, high-pitched sequence to signal a direct attack. It's a sophisticated underwater symphony that completely shatters that myth of the mindless eating machine.
So, let's recap. They have steel-piercing bite forces, regenerating bear trap teeth, and they coordinate attacks using complex acoustic barks. Which brings us to the ultimate, tension-filled question. What actually happens when human flesh meets piranha-infested waters? I mean, if everything we've just learned makes them sound like the ultimate underwater predators, surely a person stepping into their domain is just a recipe for a gruesome boiling tragedy, right?
Well, to answer that, a renowned river wildlife expert conducted the ultimate real-world test. And the setup was simple, but honestly, terrifying. First, he threw raw meat into a swarming tank. Instantly, the water boiled. The meat was aggressively, completely devoured. Then came step 2. The human expert slowly lowered himself into that exact same water. We're all expecting total chaos at this point, right? But the shocking truth? The piranhas didn't swarm, they didn't bite, they actually retreated to the corners of the tank in absolute fear. Without the specific trigger of thrashing prey or blood, the human was simply seen as a large, intimidating obstacle to avoid. Mind blown.
Now, obviously, we have to be clear here. These are still wild animals, and rare, terrible tragedies do happen, like the heartbreaking loss of a 6-year-old girl in Brazil some years back. But researchers have identified the true triggers for these extremely rare anomalies. Piranhas almost exclusively attack humans when they're driven to the absolute brink by environmental extremes. We're talking severe droughts that shrink their habitats to puddles, total starvation when their normal food sources disappear, or when they are fiercely defending their spawning nests. Outside of pure, absolute desperation, they really just prefer to leave us completely alone.
So, we've dismantled the Hollywood monster piece by piece. The piranha isn't a mindless killer. It's a highly evolved, deeply misunderstood creature that would much rather scavenge the river bottom than hunt us. It's an incredible testament to how fear can completely blind us to scientific reality. Which leaves us with a really fascinating, provocative thought to end on today. If our imaginations have completely misrepresented the world's most feared river fish, what other wild realities in nature are we completely misunderstanding? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the myths out there.